Today let's quickly look at how to use a refreshable modifier in SwiftUI that was introduced in WWDC 2021. With the refreshable modifier, you can load new items on a list by just pulling down on the list. So let's create a new project. We'll call it Refreshable. So first of all, let's create a model. So this model is the one that's gonna hold a bunch of images, and on refresh we will load one image. As you can see, the model will be an observable object, so the SwiftUI view can observe the model and any changes in its published properties like the images. So we cannot use the image directly because it does not conform to identifiable protocol. So we'll create our own myImage structure that will conform to the identifiable protocol, so we can use those images in a list in SwiftUI. So we can provide an ID as a UUID and SwiftUI image. So our myImage contains an ID and a SwiftUI image. So let's keep our image array empty at the start, and then we'll create a function. Let's call it refresh. It will be an asynchronous function because the new refreshable modifier works with the Async Await API. So let's make our URL session data task a call, and we will have to do a try await on that because it can throw, and then we'll create a UI image out of the data that we received from the URL session. And now we will, as you can see, we have to modify our target to iOS 15 as the new Async Await API of the URL session is available on iOS 15 onwards. And now we will just append our new image out of the UI image to the image array. Now let's go to our content view, and then we will create a state object that will hold our model. So let's call it model, and we'll initialize the model. And let's get rid of the text, and we will create a list. The list will contain the images that are present in the model, and for each image that we got that is represented by $0, we'll get the underlying SwiftUI image that we have in the myImage structure. And then we'll say it's resizable and aspect ratio is so that it can fit. And now let's resume our preview and see our code compiles. And as you can see, currently if we pull down, nothing happens. So let's now add our refreshable modifier into the list, and we'll call await refresh call on the model. And now if we try pulling again, as you can see, our images start loading. So we keep pulling and then it loads a new image. Now let's put some breakpoints and see how the code is executing. So let's run the code in simulator and put breakpoints in the refresh call and also inside the refresh function. As you can see, when we pull down, the refreshable block is executed and it calls the refresh function on the model. And the refresh function has an await URL data task call. So code waits for the URL session to finish, and then it appends the downloaded image to the images array. That SwiftUI view that is observing that array reacts to that and includes that newly added image in the list.